Welcome to On the Corner of Main Street, presented by Plaza Hotel and Casino in downtown Las Vegas. Here is Plaza CEO Jonathan Jossel, Russell Aaron, Gary Vickery, and I'm your host, Lisa Melmed. This is our 12th episode. Can you guys believe it?
It's number 12.
Wow. That's unbelievable. And everybody's here. We got everybody back for this episode. So Russ is here. I'm here. Of course, JJ's steering the ship with Lisa. So
this was
good to have everybody here.
This was an original goal when we did sit down in the boardroom and discuss this. You know, we did say, let's see what 12 episodes look like and see where we go. So this is kind of cool. Like, it's here.
Well said, Russ. That's true. We sat down and when this idea came about, it was just, could we do 12 episodes? And see what kind of feedback we get and what the sort of strategy or goal would be of this podcast. And I think it's been better than we expected. Would you say, Lisa?
I hope so. Let's hear from our listeners. If you want to give us any feedback, you can email us at podcast@Plaza Hotel Casino.
Our plan, though, is to now continue this indefinitely without any sort of limitations and obviously talk about if there'll be different guests or different insights. And as downtown and the city and the world continues to evolve, we'll continue to discuss it on this podcast and see where that takes us. But I think, I don't know, why don't you tell us, Gary, you have a favorite episode of the 12?
Oh, easily, it's Joe Asher. I loved the Joe Asher episode. I loved his backstory and how he came to Las Vegas. So I love that.
You have a favorite, Russ?
You know, I told you a long time ago what my favorite was, and you were like, that's kind of rude to say. You shouldn't have a favorite.
What was it?
Weldon.
Oh. Yeah, Weldon is fascinating. And Lisa?
I like the Sam Terry episode. I got to learn about him and what he did for downtown. Nice. How about you, Jonathan?
I like all 12.
Oh, you can't. You got to.
It's like asking me which is your favorite kid. You can't have an answer for that.
Do you have a favorite child?
Do I have a favorite child? You'll never know that. No, I like a podcast episode. They're all different, but you love them equally.
Okay, so today we're talking about casino marketing. When I moved to Vegas in 2014, I remember coming to the Plaza and trying to learn about a casino host, and I just thought that was a mind-blowing concept. I couldn't wrap my head around a host being in a casino and not a host that welcomes you at a restaurant.
Did you see it like on TV or something, and you were like, how do you get to do that position? Or like, did you not know what it was completely?
No, I didn't know what it was completely.
Okay.
But then starting working at the Plaza, it was like, oh, okay. I quickly learned what a host is. What do you think the three most important aspects of running a casino in Las Vegas are?
The world's changed a little bit since what we want to talk about. Obviously, when we talk about just casino, let's pretend for a little bit that there isn't a virus and that everything's normal.
It feels good.
And it does feel good. Imagine we're all sitting around a table close together, not wearing masks and talking about a podcast like we used to. Relationships are very important, right? Everybody, and it's a cliche to say, everybody has the same slot machines. Everybody has the same table games. But what differentiates you are those relationships. So obviously your relationships and your guest service around that, which allows those relationships to form, is very important. I think something else, though, that has come about over the last few years is also how you keep your property front of mind. So that, especially down here, you've got a number of different casinos. People can walk from place to place. How do you stand out? How do you continue to be something that people think about? And I use a word, and it's relevant. How do you remain relevant in a competitive market? That's something that's always been important to me, is making sure the Plaza identity remains relevant. I think that's why people say, why do you do fireworks so much? Because it's relevant. People look up.
It's the best part.
People see us. People hear us. It keeps us relevant. So relationships, remaining relevant. And I think the third thing, which is not necessarily a casino, but any hotel or business, is continuing to improve, continuing to reinvest, making sure you have the newest technology, making sure you have the best slot machines, making sure you have, whether it's hotel infrastructure, new elevators, different things that just continue to make the place better. So when every time someone comes here, they feel it's better. They feel that difference. So those would be my reinvestment. I got 3 R's: relationships, relevance, and reinvestment. Those would be my keys. And frankly, and this is important, it's not necessarily unique to a casino. There's an old thing that Steve Wynn used to say, which is gambling is not the cause, it's the effect. And the cause is your music, your entertainment, your relationships, your marketing, your infrastructure. The effect is people will gamble. People are going to gamble. It's everything else that gets them in the building that then leads them to gamble. So that's something that always stuck with me. And those 3 R's that I just made up on the spot are all causation, which will lead people into your casino and gamble more.
Yeah, and I think Jonathan kind of touched on everything that I was going to say. Believe it or not.
Thanks, Gary.
You're welcome.
That's a great answer.
Verbatim, right? Verbatim.
He actually took the words right out of my mouth.
Took the words right out of my mouth. I'm actually staring at him because if he used the phrase I was going to use, I was just going to be terribly disappointed.
Copyright, yeah.
But personal touch. So a few years back, I did a brief stint as a casino host. And
you were a casino host?
I was a casino host.
All right.
I was a casino host here at the Plaza. And the main thing that I took away from it was creating that personal touch, that personal experience for each and every guest. If you can relate to them, if you can give them a call on the phone, and you're talking to them about coming back to Vegas, you have that opportunity to relate to them with something other than just coming down and staying with us and gambling with us. If you can create that personal touch with all of your guests, I mean you're in. Yeah,
I think, Gary, one day we do need to do an episode about your career at the Plaza, from poker to host to whatever else you did, to director of hotel.
And a few other stories that I'm sure nobody here really knows about.
I probably don't want to know them.
Tweet us your questions about that at PlazaPod. All right, let's introduce our fabulous guest today. We are joined by the Plaza's very own Director of Casino Marketing, Esme Gonzalez.
Hello, hello. Welcome to the podcast, Esme.
Thank you.
Welcome
thank you.
to On the Corner
exciting.
of Main Street.
Thank you, Lisa. Thank you.
Jonathan, who is your favorite employee and why is it Esme?
Nice. I'll pay you later.
I think Esme should tell her history at the Plazas independently of this, but I will say one thing about Esme, which I've known her, 12 years?
10.
10 years.
It feels longer. I know.
Been a long road. And she is the type of person who never says no to anything. If you ask her to do something, doesn't matter when, how, what, she will do it. She will get it done. Unless it's illegal. I won't do that. Yes, thank you. That's good. I've never asked you to do anything
I don't think even,
that I'm aware of. But I think the one thing that I learned in management is it's better to have people with the right attitude that you can teach them what to do. And Esme, in her world of never saying no to anything, has grown through the ranks at the Plaza of every different position within the casino, from Players Club to casino services to a host to a manager, now to a director. And she's only done that because she's always said yes, and she's always shown a desire to learn and to grow. And for me, that's a wonderful thing, because I can teach her what I want her to do, but I can't teach her the attitude. And if she's not up to it, she doesn't feel like doing it like some people, then you'll never learn those things. So that's why she's one of my favorite. Because she stuck through tough times, and she's got the right attitude to always continue to grow.
Nice. Esme, tell us about your span and career at the Plaza and how you ended up here.
Well, I moved out to Vegas in 2005, right after high school, with my boyfriend then husband now. But I didn't come to Plaza, or actually to any casino, probably till about 2006. I worked for Station Casinos for a little bit. After that, I got hired at the Las Vegas Club, which sadly is gone, but something great's coming up there. I can see it from here, so cool. I started at the Las Vegas Club as a front desk agent, and worked there for a bit.
You must have seen some great things.
I have great stories. Let me tell you.
Did you ever go to Tinoco's?
I did go to Tinoco's.
Okay,
yes.
okay.
They had an amazing wet burrito.
I think you're confused. There's no burrito at
No,
Tinoco's.
they did. They had burritos. That front area of Tinoco's, that little snack bar area they have.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fine.
Ooh, all right.
So, anyways, I started working over there in 2010, and then moved to Plaza after the renovation. When I moved over to Plaza, they moved me over as a supervisor at the front desk. A little bit after, I went into being a hotel manager. Then I moved over to the casino area. I worked as a casino services agent for a little bit, taking reservations for all of our casino customers, helping out with telemarketing, all that good stuff. And then I became a casino host. From being a host, then Jonathan promoted me to becoming promotions manager, so taking care of the Players Club, all the promotions on the casino floor, and then I became what I am now, which is the director of casino marketing. It's been crazy, it's been 10 years, such a short time, but I've learned a lot, and I've, always wanted to learn more, and Jonathan's always been great.
So what do you oversee in your role right now?
Right now I oversee the Players Club, Casino Services, which is, again, who makes our reservations for our customers. They telemarket as well, and our casino hosts.
Is that it? Thought you did more.
I do more for you because you asked me to.
But then you also take care of all of the box office, all of the transactions we do for all of our showrooms and events.
Yep, the box office is in conjunction with the Players Club. Yeah.
I mean, you make it sound easy, but there's mailers, there's kiosks, there's offers, there's guest interactions.
Kiosks,
Come on,
offers.
What are you talking? Why are you underselling yourself like this?
I do everything. I do a little bit of everything.
You do?
Yeah, I do.
Do you remember the first time you met Jonathan?
You better.
Yeah.
You
no,
do?
I don't. Actually, I'm sorry.
It was a
Jonathan,
long
do you
time
remember?
ago. I don't.
I mean, I saw him around, but I never like sat down and spoken to him until later on.
So I have a question. You saw young Jonathan going through the Las Vegas club, and was it very much like Vince Vaughn and Swingers, where like he walked in like owning the place, or was Jonathan kind of the same Jonathan that we know now?
He's the same. He's always been the same Jonathan, talking to
I don't
all the
believe you, but
employees,
okay.
saying hi. Yeah.
I'm consistent, Russ. I'm consistent. I probably ran into you in the Las Vegas club. You were probably hanging out with all the dancing dealers, dancing somewhere in the Vegas club back in the, after hours.
Up on that stage,
I
used to change the music over there. That was one of my favorite parts of the job, was like heading over there, changing the music.
I'll never forget. It was like Super Bowl weekend, and I was in there, and it was not right. And I tried to change it. There was that big box in the front, and it was so loud that I unplugged it to change it. Everyone looked at me, and then I didn't lower the volume, so I plugged it back in, and it made one of those big pow noises. A piece of the ceiling fell out.
Oh my God!
In front of everyone. This literally must have been 8-9 years ago. It was crazy. It was one of my favorite memories in the Vegas club.
Was it busy in there?
It was packed. It was packed. It was Super Bowl weekend. It was packed. And I don't know why I was screwing around with the music. And I started screwing around with the music. And it was in view of everyone because it was that big box right in the front there. Everyone could see you doing it. And I unplugged it, and all the girls started looking at me. So I didn't know what to do, so I just plugged it back in. And it was so loud it popped. And
Gosh.
It was great.
As we tell us about casino hosts, we have a lot of questions about them. Like, how does someone get a casino host?
Getting a casino host is fairly easy. Obviously you just have to gamble to a certain criteria, then you'll get a host coded to you. Our hosts are very open to talk to anybody on the casino floor. You're not going to get one of our hosts to say, like, I'm not going to help you because you don't play enough or whatever. They're open to talking to everybody, and they love taking care of our customers.
It's funny. You asked that question, and it seems to be one of the most common questions you hear on social media. How do I get a host? Mm-hmm. There's two things. One, I was once in a casino, and I overheard somebody ask that exact same question, and the person said, if you have to ask, you don't qualify.
That's very true. I agree with that wholeheartedly.
And
if you qualify, they'll come find you.
There is an element of truth to that. Now, downtown, and specifically with us, it's a little different. We're more open, as Esme said. We're more willing to have those conversations. But a good host is not going to let you ask that question. A good host is going to find you before you ask that question because they're going to seek you out and they're going to say, your play's good, I want to be your host. And they're going to introduce yourself to them. And they're going to introduce themselves to you. And they're going to work on that relationship. You should not have to seek a host out. A host should be seeking you out if there's a good host.
Would that be something where, like, the pit boss says, like, hey, get a host because there's somebody who has been at this table, they're doing something, or
so there's the human interaction, which is, a pit boss calls a host and says, hey, there's so and so, they just bought in for X, or they're playing Y, and they're doing this and they're doing that, and then the host comes out, introduces themselves, and hopefully strikes up a conversation, and will develop a relationship. You're not going to do it on the spot.
Yeah.
But it's on the host to make that initial interaction, follow up, give their card. There's so many tools now, though, on the slot systems where you can see exactly what someone's playing. Even if they have a card or don't have a card, the machine is reporting their play. So if a good host is there, they're going to see that play and say, oh, let me go out there. And in these casinos, especially downtown, you're talking about, it's different for everyone, but anywhere from 30 to 60% of the play in these casinos is unknown. You don't know who that person is. There's not a card. So it's on the host to say, who's on that machine? Let me go find them. And if you have a good host team, the customer should not have to ask, how do I get a host? Because the host has seeked them out already. Thank you. Hell, Russ, I just got collect.
Never.
I just got corrected. My English is very bad. So that's the answer: is if you have to ask, you don't qualify, and if the host hasn't sought you out, you're not very good at what the host is not doing a good job. Would you agree, Esme?
100%. Yeah. Like if you qualify for a host, the host will find you. We have a system in place where they know where you're at. When I was a host, I would go up to people and they'd look at me like, "What are you doing here? Like, how do you know my name? Like, see that little card?" And then they'd start laughing at it, like, "I got people," and they would just, they would think it was a hoot.
You're a hoot.
But I think there's a misconception as well. What is a host, right? So now a lot of people will call in and say, make their reservation. Well, is that a host? Because we send out an offer to somebody. Esme sends out an offer every month to certain people, every 2 months, other people, whatever it is. Mm-hmm. And then they get that offer and they call in and they say, I have an offer, can I book it? And then they come. Did they need a host for that? No, because there's a mailer, there's a system in place for that reservation. The host is somebody who's calling you and saying, hi, you haven't been here in a month or in 2 months. Can I book you a trip? This is what we got going on. These are the events. We have a box at this arena. This is the promotions we're running. And try to develop that relationship so that they come as a result of that interaction, as opposed to necessarily somebody who just called in and said, right, oh, I have an offer. Can I come in? And this is my plan.
It's, hey, Sue, it's your birthday. Are you coming in for your birthday weekend? Just knowing your customer and calling them and always having that personal touch, like Ari said in the beginning.
That's actually the next question: is how do casino hosts build relationships with their guests?
Well,
that's definitely it. Calling them, making sure that you're calling them for their birthday, their anniversary, when they're here, making sure that they have everything set up, their limos, they're greeting them upon arrival, making sure their room is clean and ready for them when they get here, taking them to dinner. There's a lot you can do with your guests.
And it needs to develop over time. It takes a while for you to get to know them, for them to get to know you, and then over time you build up a relationship where you know things about them, whether it's their kids or their favorite sports teams or whatever it is, and you allow that relationship to build to the point where you become almost friends.
You get to know them. Like I know you like George Strait. We have George Strait at the T-Mobile Arena. You want to come see him? You get to know them a little more personal.
Do you have a Reigns from Bingo? So, we had Weldon on here, and he was describing Reigns, Reigns, who knows everything about the bingo players, where they sit, who they want to sit by. Do you have somebody like that here in one of our casino hosts that does that well?
Me.
Or you?
I'm just kidding.
Okay, I get it.
No, all of the casino hosts know their customers very well and what they like. So I don't think one of them does it better than any of the others.
And every casino guest is a little different, right? So
Definitely.
Not everybody wants to just go have dinner and do this. Some may want to go out golfing or have other type of extracurricular activities other than just the actual gaming on the casino floor. So.
And then you also have guests that just want to come in, book my reservation, make sure I have my ride coming in, let me go to my machine, and leave me alone. They just want to come and play. That's it.
There's also a difference between a host necessarily in downtown and in the locals markets versus on the Strip. Because on the Strip you're dealing with a lot more amenities. You're dealing with a lot more nightclubs and retail and spas, which don't necessarily exist down here. So here it's more, again, of that relationship driven as opposed to just throwing amenities at people and giving them more tools at their disposal. I think a lot of people overstate the importance of hosts because a relationship is very important, but what I found is you can have a relationship with a slot attendant, with a dealer, with a front desk agent, and those relationships, or a cocktail waitress, or a security officer, those are just as important as the relationship with the host. A lot of people come in to see their favorite cocktail waitress, or they come in to see their favorite dealer, and those relationships stand out as much as the host. So the host's job is really more about helping to make that trip. But once they get here, they might have relationships with multiple people that they've developed over time. And that's why I think something I've learned is a lot of hosts think that they have customers that will travel with them necessarily. And some do, don't get me wrong, that will at least come and visit them once or twice. But people are generally loyal to a property as opposed to a host. People are going to stay with the property more than they will with the host over the long term. And that's just my opinion.
Do you think there's a big difference between downtown and the Strip as far as, like, what they're trying to do to bring people in? I feel like on the Strip they're like, here, do you want a corn dog? Do you want this? Like, you know, come join. And I feel like down here it's more, you know, the history. You've been a part of some of the action, and there's that huge difference of quality versus quantity, right?
Hold on. Did you say that? Corn dog?
I did say corn dog. You never know what they're going to offer.
Are they giving away?
You totally lost me at corn dog.
Yeah, they might. You don't know, man. They have hot dogs on a stick inside the MGM and inside of New York, New York. You don't know what they offer.
I've never had anybody offer me a corn dog at the MGM.
All right. You haven't been to Vegas.
You're not gambling, right?
I'm not gambling enough.
You're doing it wrong.
You lost me at corn dog.
Esme?
Yes.
Who are your favorite guests?
Oh, just like Jonathan said, you're not supposed to have favorites, but
we listed favorite episodes. We could list.
Is there anybody you want to give a shout out to while you're on the podcast?
I have a couple people. One of them is one of our guests too. Gary stole her from another property downtown when he was a host, and she's become literally like part of the Plaza family. She comes in, she'll text me like, I'm coming in, let's do like this, whatever, right? So
she sends gifts.
Amazing cookie baskets. Oh my God, they're delish. Thanks, Sue. Anyways, when she comes in, a lot of the times we'll go like bowling together.
Oh, fun.
So we don't have bowling on Plaza. Obviously, we have to go somewhere else. But she loves to spend time with me, and she's met my kid. I have a pretty young child, 7 months.
New.
Yeah.
Tell us about your baby.
She's 7 months and she's crazy. But yeah, Sue's met my baby, so we're very close with Sue. There are 2 other guests that come in. There are a couple that are...
Wait, there's only 2 other guests we have that come in?
There's more than that. But this couple stands out to me just because they're fun. They love to drink. They love to gamble. Mike and Gina. Jonathan knows them. I actually have a really funny story with Mike and Gina in it.
Is it clean?
It is. Okay. Clean-ish. Talking with Mike, who knows. But I had a friend that was celebrating her birthday here at the Plaza, and, you know, we went to Oscars, we had dinner, the wine was rolling. She got a little too tipsy, and Mike, the guest, actually had to carry her out to put her in her niece's car so that she could go home. It was the funniest thing I've ever seen. You know, one of our casino guests carrying somebody over his sholler to take her home because she was too drunk.
That sounds like Mike. He's a good guy.
He's a good guy.
Do you have any other favorite memories?
As Jonathan said, I do have a funny story from when I was working at the Vegas Club as a front desk agent. I used to work graveyard, obviously.
Wow.
Graveyard in downtown, especially 10 years ago, not the greatest. I had 2 guys come in, and our front desk was over in the back area. It wasn't towards, like, Fremont. Mm-hmm. Our casino faced Fremont, which is good because we got a lot of traffic. But our front desk check-in was in the back. I had 2 guys come in, and they were literally, like, punching each other and fighting, and I'm going to kick your and blah, blah, you know what I mean? Like, talking so much smack. And I was by myself. I was just this little old me at the front desk, and I was like, hey, get out of my lobby. And they both, like, stopped in their tracks and turned to me, and they were like, okay, sorry. And they left. I was like, oh, I'm a
I think you could do that today, and Gary and I would still Scooby-Doo out. Like,
yeah. As we can be scary.
Yeah. When you're 5 feet, obviously.
I don't think it's scary. I just think she sounds determined. You know, she's a mom now, and you're like, whoa, dude. Like,
how does the Plaza come up with their casino events?
Definitely, it is a group effort. I'm not going to take all the credit. I wish I could, but I don't. We take a little bit from everybody. Gary gets involved a lot in our promotions, and I run stuff through Jonathan, and we all sit together and we talk about it. Sometimes we start with something, and then it turns into a completely different thing. So again, it's all of us sitting together. You're in those meetings as well, Natasha, our director of marketing. So that's how. I
think one of the things that's important is we try to get away from just making it about the promotion and more about an experience over the last few years. So adding in more experiential items where people can actually do things as opposed to just saying, here's a $10,000 tournament, come and do this, or here's a $50,000 tournament, come and do that. But add in a dinner, add in a drinks, add in a luau, add in, some kind of activity that makes it more of an experience, so it's not just about the money always.
Mm-hmm. Do you have a favorite casino event in the past?
Please tell me it's the tax day promotion.
Have we ever talked about the tax day promotion?
What is the tax day promotion?
I don't know what you guys are talking about. Anywho.
Well, about 6 years ago, Esme and Lisa
oh my goodness,
came up with a promotion where they were going to rebate everybody's taxable jackpots on tax day. It was April the 15th, right?
15th, yep.
It must have been 2015, I think. 2015 and 2016. And they agreed to rebate everybody's taxable promotion, everybody's taxable payout for that day. And about 24 hours before the promotion, somebody came to me and said, hey, Jonathan, that's a crazy promo because video poker players are going to come here and play video poker till they're blue in the face. And every taxable they hit, you're going to rebate them the tax portion of that jackpot in free play.
So 30% or somewhere around that ballpark.
So
in free play.
Yeah. So I said, well, we better turn off video poker from this part of the promotion. Not thinking through the rest of the promotion that Esme and Lisa had come up with. So that night, the promo started at 12:01 a.m. and ran till 11:59 p.m. on the 15th. And I get a call at about 1 a.m. and the slot manager is saying, Jonathan, something's wrong. I said, what? So every single Keno machine is packed. And we've been attacked by guys just going completely nuts. They're playing without even looking at what they're playing. They're just playing the max bet. I said, really? She said, yeah, you might want to do something. I said, well, what do you want me to do? She said, I don't know. She said, but we've already had about 10 taxables in the first hour, and there's just more and more guys coming in and playing on this promo. So I thought, oh, boy. So I came down at about, I tried to sleep a little bit because it was 1 a.m., and at about 5 a.m. my phone kept going. Then the slot director was calling me, and he was saying, we got a problem. So I came down about 6 a.m., and I remember I went to at the time, the Racing Sports Bar. Every seat was taken, and there was just guys there, max betting Keno. And they had figured that if you play Keno and you hit a taxable, the odds are in your favor because we're rebating you this money. So one of the guys who I actually knew, I said to him, what are you guys doing? He said, your math's upside down. This promo makes no sense for you guys. We're going to kill you. I said, great. Good job, Esme and Lisa, on this promotion. He said, truthfully, if you're smart, you'll cancel the promotion. And I said, it was 9 a.m. now when I was talking to him. So we've been doing it for about 8 hours, and we had already paid out about $150,000 in taxables.
Whoa.
So I said, no, I'm not going to cancel it because I'm a man of my word. And he said, you're crazy. And I said, well, we did a promotion, and we're going to see what happens. And we were basically gambling against these guys. Not everybody won because you still got to hit those taxables. But all they were doing was they were betting the same 6 numbers in Keno, trying to hit 7 numbers in Keno, trying to hit as big of a taxable as they could and get the free play back. And we ended up running it the whole day. And these guys came up and actually said thank you. They said thank you for not canceling the promotion. You're a man of your word. We ended up losing about $250,000 on that promotion. So thank you two, for doing that. However,
you built relationships.
We built relationships with the wrong people.
Have you ever seen more people come in?
It was crazy. It was
technically you did your job.
Yeah.
And just for people who are new to the podcast, a taxable is any winning over $1,200 is what gets taxed by.
If you hit a jackpot in Las Vegas, it's defined as a taxable, which is anything over $1,200, which means you have to get a form from the slot manager, and you get a W-9 form, which declares that you have to pay tax on that. Obviously, your losses should outweigh your winnings for most gamblers, which means you can show your losses and you don't have to pay the tax on that winning as long as you had more losses. And these guys,
so go hit it big.
These guys and girls are teams that look for bad promotions, and we probably did one of the worst But it gave me great insight into the industry. Learned a lot. These guys emailed me afterwards, said they want to work with us on different things, and it was pretty cool to see that. But as a promotion, it was probably the worst we've ever done, I would say. So
Thanks, Gary, for bringing that up.
Yeah, no problem. Not a problem at all.
Gary.
My favorite promotion was the $30,000 Mustang Mojo. If we're getting back on subject.
Why was that your favorite promotion?
I like Fords, I like Mustangs, and it's a Mustang Mojo. It was cool. We had a board, and there was a whole game, and there was just there was involvement, and I like games that have a chance of there's a draw, there's a pull, there's that chance, and I think Pachinko was like that. Anything with a briefcase is fun. It reminds me of Deal or No Deal. I've had a lot of fun things here.
So Russ, for the Mustang Mojo, we had the Mustang you could win. There was a free play prize and there was a cash prize.
Ooh.
What do you think the winner took? The car, the cash, or the free play?
Cash.
They took the free play.
Ooh. All right.
Why do you think they did that?
Because it's non-taxable.
it's pretty simple, guys.
My favorite part was setting up, the guests coming out, the winner, taking pictures with the car, so we could put it up on social media and
I
everything.
know this story.
And I got to tell you, I mean, it wasn't our car. We had to, give it back to the dealership after the promotion was over. And I guess I had a nice time joyriding that around for a little while,
Jonathan,
I know that I thought Natasha took it for a drive, but I didn't know you took it for a Ferris Bueller's kind of day out.
He took it to get washed.
Yeah. Let's say I took it to go get washed for a little while.
Just go to school.
Oh man, but it drove smooth. Let me tell you.
My favorite promotion ever was an April Fool's Day. We said, come to the Players Club and find a leprechaun.
That was last year, huh? Or 2 years ago.
Yeah, and it was Gary. Everyone's like, no, this is April Fool's joke. It's not real. But Gary came into work dressed
as a leprechaun.
leprechaun suit.
What did we give away? It's like 1 million points or something. I think it was like 1 million points.
I think so, too, yeah.
I was brand new here. There's this guy walking around. Lisa goes, oh, that's Gary. I'm like, okay, this guy does, okay.
Gary's kind of like me. He doesn't say no to anything. So we're like, Gary, dress as a leprechaun. Actually, I think it might have been his idea.
I think he volunteered. So what is your favorite promotion?
My favorite promotion probably has to be the $50,000 giveaway we did a couple years back. It was just like an old school. It wasn't an electronic drawing. It was an actual old school drawing with a drawing drum and tickets. And we had, I think, Jonathan actually pick the winners out of the drum. Me and Gary spent separate rooms, but me and Gary spent the night here at Plaza because I was so paranoid that I wasn't going to be here on time to get the room ready. So we hired somebody that came in and did balloons, and we made the brunch was set up. Everything thankfully went smoothly, and it was really fun. And I think Jonathan at the end added more prizes. So we picked extra winners, and he added more money to the pool, which was awesome.
So you never know what you're going to get when you come to the Plaza.
Yeah. Our CEO might just go, hey, add more to that.
All right, let's jump into some social media questions. At Steve Kaufman asks, do you charge a resort fee on a comped room offer?
No, we do not. If your room is comped, your resort fee is also comped. So you will never pay a resort fee if your room is comped.
Debbie K.H. asks, do you differentiate your offers for locals versus out-of-state players?
Yes, we do. Our out-of-state players get their offers based on how often they come out, for the weekend. Our locals get their offers more for every week since they're here more often.
Mm-hmm. And to follow up with that, at the Vegas Inquirer asks, is it true that out-of-state players get free room offers over local players?
It's not really true. We do have locals that get room offers as well. It is our higher-end locals that get offers for rooms. Any local can probably get a room. They just have to come and see us and see what we can do for them.
Do a lot of locals take you up on the room offers?
More staycations.
Yeah, more staycations. They come. They don't, take us up every single month, but some of them will come out 1 month and then not come back, and because they live here, they really don't need the room.
Yeah.
Right. Locals are looking for something a little bit different than maybe some of the out-of-state guests.
I will say the industry now, we're going back into the reality of the world, which is COVID and the pandemic. There is a lot more competition for local business and a lot more competition for drive market. If you look at the numbers that were just released by Game and Control Board, the regional, local casinos are doing better than the downtown, and then who are doing even better than the Strip. Think about, off the top of my head, the Strip was down about 62% over last year in June.
Wow.
Downtown was down about 51% over last year in June, and the locals casinos were only down 28% over last year in June. So you can see locals are doing much better than the Strip in downtown, which makes sense because we rely much more on tourism, air travel, conventions, events, which there's zero. And locals still have a decent core business. So there is more competition for locals. Or it means
they weren't doing very well last year.
No. Yes, they had further, the downtown and Strip were doing bigger numbers, but we had much further to fall given that there's no tourism.
At Lynn from NJ asks, do you tier match players' cards from other casinos to give people a chance to try out your property?
We did do tier matching for a bit. It just wasn't working out for us that great, so we stopped doing tier matching. But if you do contact us, and we won't tier match you, but we'll definitely look at your offers from other properties and see what we can do for you.
Problem with tier matching as well is it takes away the value of the people who earned it. So It's not really fair to the people that earned it, and then you say, oh, well, we just gave it to that person because they supposedly earned it somewhere else. I think the other issue is you can give somebody a look at your property by other ways, matching offers or just taking a shot on them in other ways. You don't have to necessarily give them the whole upfront kit and caboodle like what somebody else earned over the course of 12 months.
Right.
And at the end of the day, if you're worth it, you'll get there.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's really not rocket science. If you're a valuable player and you stay here, you play here, you'll get there. We have a very aggressive reward system that's already in place. You advance up pretty quickly in our reward system.
We do get customers that ask us, why don't I get, the same offer that I get here? I said, well, do you play the same here as you do there? Well, no, I spend more time there. I said, well, here's what you do. You stop going there and just come here and do all your play here, and you'll get a better offer than what you get over there. And they go, oh, okay, makes sense. I'm like, yeah, it does.
At Rich J asks, I know the slot machines are all governed by a random number generator, but hot and cold streaks happen. Is there someone on the casino floor he can consult with about which machines happen to be hot at that moment?
I was going to say go up and feel it.
I'm joking.
But seriously, like during the tax day promotion, is there someone who is tightening the machines at any given point? People always ask that. No.
No one's tightening the machines. They're all preset. There are differences in what certain games, like there's video poker games that have negative hold, and if you play perfect strategy, you actually win on, which we have on the floor right now. We have the last remaining Joker pokers at those pay tables in the entire city, which they're very busy at the moment.
They stay busy.
They stay
all
busy,
the time.
Yeah. People know what they're looking for, versus some of the other games which might have a 12 to 15% hold. It just depends, but there's no one messing with it on the spot at any given time.
Yeah, there's no back room where there's controls where people are just back there just sliding them up and down. And,
I get people asking me all the time, like, you know what machine is going to hit. Just tell me which one's going to hit. I said, really? Do you think that if I knew which machine was going to hit, I wouldn't have my mom or my husband down here gambling? I said, I don't know. I'd be rich if I knew.
There's some people in town, like bartenders, that kind of guess because, they watch the bar and playing kind of thing. But I mean, like, they're not like with a crystal ball being able to say that,
When people ask me what machines pay out, I always tell them the ATM. Pay you every single time without question.
Every single time.
At NJ Dillon asks, can I have a free room purely as I'm from the UK? I promise to lose some cash on site.
Yes.
Maybe. We'll see.
Mm-hmm. At Good Humor Life asks, do the Plaza hosts do anything that sets them apart from most hosts?
Well, I can't speak for other hosts, but I know that our hosts here at Plaza, they're very personable. You're not going to feel kind of like they don't want to talk to you. They're always going to be available to you. They're, like I said, we take our customers out golfing, bowling. I'm sure other properties do that as well, but they become friends with their players instead of it just being like business. It becomes more of a friendship.
Yeah, I mean, I can go back to when we rebranded the Royal Rewards Club to Plaza Rewards Club.
Oh, yes,
It was
I know
about
this
2 years
story.
ago.
It's a good one.
We took, there were big letters over top of it, several rewards, and had our logo in the O.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a spade with a 2 on it,
Yeah.
R2.
It was in the spade, yeah.
Yeah.
I like
so
that one.
When that came off the wall, when engineering was, pulling that off the wall, we kept that logo and framed it into a nice shadow box and sent that to one of the casino guests. And it's hanging in her living room.
Yeah.
And she cried when she got it.
Everybody
I
signed
cried
it,
because I
put a little
wanted it.
message for her.
Right. I mean, that's the personal touch element.
Yeah.
Something, it doesn't cost us much, right, to just send that out.
Yeah.
But to her, that meant the world to her.
Very nice.
Great.
Last question. Dane L. asks, how do you always get me to spend my money and leave happy?
Pop-up
That's really
pizza.
not a question. That's more of a statement.
It's
Thank
your
you, Dane.
sunshiny personality.
Yes, that's what it is.
Well, thank you so much, Esme, for joining us today. We've learned a lot. What did you guys learn today?
I learned that I know nothing about casino like I thought I did. Like, I want to do a whole episode where Jonathan tells us things like negative hold and other definitions that I still don't know.
Mm-hmm. How about you, Gary? You knew it all already?
No, not at all.
Gary knows
Gary learned the
everything.
3 R's.
All the time.
I got the 3 R's, yeah. I wrote them down over at the top. No, but I mean, at the end of the day, just like Jonathan was saying earlier, no matter if it's the casino business, whether it's the restaurant business, bar business, any type of business, I mean, at the end of the day, creating, personal experiences for the people it's what's going to keep bringing them back time and time again. Mm-hmm. That can't be stressed up more.
The guests are going to remember you for how you made them feel, not what you're giving them, right? So
Absolutely.
If you're giving them a good feeling, like they're at home and they can, be taken care of, then they're going to be coming back all the time.
Are you trying to quote Maya Angelou? Is that who you're trying to quote?
Nope.
People will always remember the way you
Made them feel.
made them feel?
Nope. I was quoting Jonathan Jossel.
Yeah, I was quoting Maya Angelou when I used that to you. People won't remember what you said or did. They'll remember how you made them feel.
Right.
Beautiful.
I got one last question. So, at Gary Vickery on Twitter asks, what's the biggest jackpot you've seen at the Plaza?
Ooh, that's a good question. We did have an over $1 million jackpot hit at Plaza. I don't remember if it was 2018, maybe. Do you remember, Jonathan?
It's happened twice. Last year on St. Patrick's Day, someone hit 1.2 million.
That was a big tweet.
Was that
on
on
the Willy
Wheel of
Wonka?
Oh, no, Willy Wonka.
And then there was a Wheel of Fortune jackpot about 4 or 5 years ago from a Hawaiian lady, and she hit over $1 million.
Both of them were Hawaiian.
Yeah, they're
Both
right.
winners,
They were both
yeah.
Hawaiians, yeah. And both of them took the payment plan
Right.
as opposed to the full
Lump
amount
sum.
up front. But, Gary, I don't know if your question was meant to be a trick question. Neither of those jackpots were our jackpots. As in the Plaza didn't have to pay them out. They were wide area progressive jackpots. One was paid by IGT, one was paid by Scientific Games. The biggest jackpot I've ever seen that we had to pay was on the progressive Keno game that we just hit a few months ago, like maybe it was 7 or 8 months ago, for 103,000. The old progressive that we
The big hunker?
the humpback Keno game.
93,000. 93,000.
Yeah.
Dude, that was really cool. Like, when you just said that.
That was a Hawaiian,
When you
too.
just said that
Hawaiian
total,
guest.
I just saw Esme going through this Rolodex of things in her head going like,
I was
where was
thinking.
the 103,000? Where? Oh, there it is. Hold on. Like, that was really cool.
Stop looking at
Thank you
me.
so Thank you, Esme, for joining us on the corner of Main Street. We'll be back again soon, but in the meantime, please let us know how we're doing and send us your questions. Email us at podcast@plazahotelcasino.com. You can tweet Jonathan at Jonathan Jossel. Also, please follow us on social media. On Twitter and Instagram, it's at PlazaPod. And on Facebook, find us at Plaza Podcast. We'll see you next time from right here on the corner of Main Street.